So it's a new day, and while our Phantom is out on the ramp right now, I figured I'd take the opportunity today before we go get her to fix up this tug. This one being the our heavy polar tug that is much better suited for pulling aircraft. So I'm gonna get the brakes going on this, and we'll get her back down on the ground, and we'll probably be using this one to pull her to pull the Phantom back today. Now this was the side that fell apart on us and spit this piece of this chunk of brake pad out on the ramp on the last night of the air show last year, whenever we were pulling her back. So we ended up having to use another tug to bring her back, and that was all right, but I'm glad this one failed when it did and not while we were under tow with an aircraft. So I'll show you what happened with this in a minute once I get these bolts out. Ugh, brake fluid. Alright. Alright. So here's what happened is the one bolts and bushing fell out, which does this, and this is what holds on the caliper to the rotor assembly. And with one missing, this thing was free to pivot as we use the brakes, and it eventually wore it out to the point that it sheared off this brake lining, and there's the backing plate for this pad, and then it pushed the piston out the entire way when it spit this out. And when that happened, now we had no brakes because we had no pressure. We weren't able to build pressure, and so that was bad. But we now have two new brake assemblies, so now I just got to put those on. All right, so there we go. All right, one new brake stack. That's one down. Now we gotta do the other side. All right, so here's the left-hand side. So I'm gonna do this one the easy way. Wow, that was a lot easier than the last one. All jokes aside, now I gotta get to bleeding because both of those cylinders, both of those brake assemblies don't have any fluid in them, so now I gotta bleed them. And brakes don't work on air, they need brake fluid. All right, so here's the setup for doing brake bleeding. I got a pressure bleeder set up with this adapter plate on the master cylinder. All right, Bonk, where'd you go?
That's all air escaping.
I heard that air.
Yep, there we go.
A little bit of air bubbles in the line, and we bleed these completely until we get nothing but a solid column of fluid. Awesome. There we go. We don't need that anymore. Here. All right, let's get this thing fired up. Yeah, probably helps if I keep it out of gear. Well, that's not good. Never doubted it for a minute. Alright, it's still a little spongy. I got a little bit of air in here. We're going to tow with the other tug, but we're going to bring the air compressor with us just in case we need to charge up the accumulator on the Phantom. Alright, let's roll. Alright, we're gonna check our brake accumulators. Well, we got 1500. Yeah, they bled down a little bit. There we are. So this is our brake accumulator. She's still at 3000 psi, so we're good to tow. Alright, let's climb on up. There she goes. Nice. Up we go. Now before I do anything, I'm going to put this back in. Alright, and make my little perch. Ready? Yeah, get to go ride the Phantom again. Woohoo! Alright, so what I'm doing in here is in case anything happens or we break the tow, I pull this handle out, that'll activate the brake accumulator, and then I stomp on the brake pedals and come to a safe stop. So if you were flying, this is your view from the hood. Yeah, it's like I'm flying. Woo! Remember me?
Yes.
How's it going, man? Yes! Yes!
Oh,
I see you. I see you. I just wanted to come catch you guys and thank y'all for bringing this out for us. It was awesome. It was a huge hit. Outstanding. Very good. I remember you. You were up at Mock with us. Among other things. You still out here dealing with this thing? I know it. I see. Thank y'all for bringing that out here to us today. It was awesome. Appreciate it very much. I'll come down and see you guys. All right? Have fun.
sharp up there.
I believe you.
How'd you get that lucky?
You taking it off?
I just kind of fell into it.
Taking this off?
It's awesome. Put it back in the anchor. Cool.
She's
She's not flying though, is she?
She's the last one left in the States that can.
But I haven't seen her up in a long time.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, are they getting ready to...
That's what we're working on. Our goal is get her back up this year.
Oh, nice. By the air show?
Yeah, fingers crossed we get to that, yes. Alright guys, so as mentioned before, our Phantom used to belong to the 147th, and it's really cool to be able to support them for special events. And so by their request, they wanted the Phantom back out on the ramp for display for some event that they had going on. I don't know if it was a change of command or if it was just a nice gathering, but it's really cool to be able to support stuff like that, especially with one of her previous squadron. So the 147th was her last squadron, and they're the ones that took her out to the boneyard. And that was sometime in the 90s, and also in that same decade is when Collings Foundation picked her up, and she's been in the collection ever since. So, again, really cool to be able to support stuff like this. Had a good time. I had a good time pretending to drive the Phantom. Hopefully we can do it for real one day, and that's still in the work. That's still the plan and the goal this year is to get her out under her own power and back in the air where she will put on one hell of a show. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.